If you're a child of God, your spirit is alive, and God, through his Holy Spirit, lives inside of you, at the innermost part of who you are. You also, of course, like everybody else, we have souls. So the Greek word for soul is psyche, P-S-U-C-H-E, is everything to do with psyche, psychiatry, psychology, all has to do with the workings of the soul. In our soul, we have some different parts there. We have our thoughts, we have our feelings, we have our will. And it's in our soul that we have our memory bank. So all of us have a memory bank of all the different things that have happened to us. Some things you remember really well, other things are more sort of distant memories and you don't remember the details, but it's still stored inside of your soul. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we do with different memories that we have there where we're tied to people. First, let's talk about in a positive sense. So I brought these chains here. So these are chains of memories. These are different things that are connecting us to other people. So something like this is between me and any other person that I have encountered here in life. So a lot of it is positive connections. I think something about it sometimes when I see a Mitsubishi. So Mitsubishi is a car that I'll see here driving around in Nashville. And every time I see a Mitsubishi, I think about my paternal grandfather. The last car that he drove before he went home to be with Jesus was a Mitsubishi. So I think about him, and I think about all the memories that I had with him. I only got to know him here on planet Earth for 11 years before he passed away. He died from cancer. So it's 38 years ago that I last saw him. But I have strong memories connecting me to my paternal grandfather. You can probably think of people like that as well, where you have strong connection to them, even though you don't see them very often. But very often what happens as well is that we develop negative ties with people. And this is what we call soul ties or emotional ties. So if you have a person in your life that has done something to you, whether that is abuse or whether that is just accusing you falsely, or maybe they failed you relationally, or you lost something because of them, you have a soul tie to that person. That if you're not careful and if you don't learn how to forgive and cut the power of this tie, the problem is that you actually carry this person and what they did to you. You carry that with you. So we say sometimes that unforgiveness is the poison I drink while waiting for someone else to die. And this is where this comes in, that if you're still holding on to a grudge, anger, bitterness, resentment towards another person, even though that person is not aware of it, even though that person might be dead, you're still connected to that person still holds power in your life. So how do you cut this emotional tie that is negative, this soul tie where you drag people with you and what they did to you? The only way you can do that is through forgiveness. It's not through what unfortunately a lot of people think, that I'll just forget about it. I'll just not think about it. I'll try to ignore it. I'll push it aside. No, you need to be active here. You need to be active in forgiveness and let go of that. When you cut that tie through forgiveness, everything that happened there doesn't mean that it was okay. It doesn't mean that it was good or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that. It's just you're saying, hey, I don't want to carry this with me. I don't want my life to be unnecessarily difficult when Jesus, through forgiveness, has provided a way for me to cut these ties so I don't have to be connected to and be suffering from what anybody else has ever done to me. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to learn to forgive and to practice radical forgiveness. Don't have any negative emotional ties with anybody, no matter what they've done. Jesus wants all of us to live in absolute freedom from anything that's ever been done to us. We do not have to be a slave to anything anybody has ever done, any message we've ever received about ourselves that is not in line with the truth of who God says we are. And this is how you do it, is through forgiveness, cutting these ties and bringing yourself to a place of experiencing the full freedom of Christ.